The video that you're about to see is for entertainment purposes only. Everything I say in this video is alleged.
Welcome to Divinity on Divine. In my room, positive energy, sage in the air. Light shines on crystals with my tarot cards. Spirit guides everywhere, guiding me to save lives one by one, day by day. Midnight comes, witching hour is here. Aliens probe me, use goes up. Spirits speak up to the focus, to the outcome. Predicted it. Dion can see the future. Dion can see the future. And it feels like paradise. And it feels like paradise. He can see the future. He can see the future. And it feels like you and I. And it feels like you and I. Oh. Dion is not the one to be playing games with. He don't play for clicks and views just to be saying it. He's a real one, not a fake. Oh no, he's no mistake. Heaven sent to speak the truth. Oh yeah, he speaks the truth. And if you don't feel spirit, you don't need to hear it. Some people don't like to hear the truth. Some people just like to live a lie. Dion is just saving lives.
You can't run away from me.
Some people just don't believe in God. As you off the yellow brick road, you'll see He's lives in you the whole time. Spirit never lies. Jesus is always with you. You. Believe in yourself, leave the rest to your spirit guides. Angels start to fly, you can't believe your eyes. Dion can see the future. Dion can see the future. And it feels like paradise. And it feels like
You're gonna be okay. I promise.
I just went down a Michael Jackson rabbit hole. I'm so fucking mad. Like, the world is so fucking evil, bro. Like, I'm so mad, bro. I swear to God, I'm so mad. And it's like, it's nothing nobody can do. It's not... Like, I just sat here for like 2 hours straight. And is anybody else feeling extremely maternal towards Michael Jackson after seeing that movie? Because it's not even funny, and it's not even freaking funny. Why did his brothers not play Twister with him? And why was everybody so mean to him for no reason? He had to go get a monkey to be his friend. And everybody acts like he was so weird, but he was just misunderstood. It's not even funny. Everybody was so mean for no reason.
You want to know how I know nobody is Michael Jackson level famous? Because nobody can agree collectively on one person. I've heard people say Beyonce is Michael Jackson level famous, Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, The Weeknd, Harry Styles, Chris Brown, Bruno Mars, so on and so forth, right? They just keep naming people. And the fact that people are arguing, no, this person is, no, this person is, no, this person is, instead of collectively agreeing on one person, shows that nobody is at his level. If somebody was truly on his level, shouldn't everybody arguing just be able to agree on one person? I'm of the opinion that nobody is Michael Jackson level famous. It's called Michael Jackson level famous for a reason. And I think a lot of it is people now are not understanding that Michael Jackson was as big as he was without the internet, without social media, without streaming. Everyone that I've seen arguing for these other artists always talk about, well, their streaming monthly numbers are blah, blah, blah. Streaming was not a thing back when Michael was at like his top peak. He sold over 100 million copies, physical copies worldwide of Thriller. And I feel like that's another thing people cannot conceptualize is it's not downloads, it's copies. People had to get up, drive down to the store, get a physical copy of the music that you want. It's not just click a button and you have it. Michael Jackson pop-tarted out of the floor and stood there for 2 minutes, didn't do shit, just stood there, just 2 minutes, didn't do jack shit. And the whole place was losing their fucking minds. Can any of those other artists just stand there, not moving a muscle, and have everybody passing out, crying, and throwing up? I do not think so. Michael had ambulances posted outside of his concerts because it was a well-known fact that a lot of people passed out of his concerts. People were taken out of there on fucking, what are they called, stretchers. I have never heard of anybody passing out at any of these other concerts for these other artists because they're just so overwhelmed and so excited by just the mere presence of them.
I saw the Michael Jackson movie and I just can't stop crying because he is just beyond special. And it, like, literally hurts my heart. Because, like, if you were to get your childhood taken away, no birthdays, no Christmas, it's sad. And at the age of 5, being so famous and not being able to have friends and your animals are your friends, which was just so beautiful. His story is so special. And Michael Jackson was so special. And his voice is an instrument. I don't give a fuck. If you think different otherwise, go to hell. Too far? Maybe not. But I just can't. Every video that I see of him talking about his story just literally melts my heart. And I listened to They Don't Really Care About Us and Human Nature, and I immediately started crying today after seeing it yesterday. And if anybody wants to go see it or is planning to go see it, you need to see it today. Go see that Michael Jackson movie because it got me all the way to fuck up. Oh, go see it. Go see it. Bitch, whoever produced it. Tens. I cried 4 times. Human Nature.
Michael Jackson vibrated too high for this world. And when you vibrate high, you got to go through this thing called the Jesus Christ crucifixion. He dealt with the world not understanding him, the world hating him, the world making all these type of accusations on him. He dealt with family members trying to extort him. When you vibrate at that certain level, you attract a lot of good. He was one of the biggest stars in the world, connected with a lot of people, and a lot of people really loved him. But the law of polarity, you also attract a lot of bad, a lot of evil. And that's what ended up happening to him towards the end of his career. People demonize what they can't understand. And when they can't understand you, they're going to project their selves onto you. And that's what he had to continuously go throughout his career.
I just finished watching Michael the movie, and oh my god, guys, nothing could have made that movie better. I cried multiple times, and that movie exceeded my expectations. As someone who's been a fan of Michael Jackson for nearly my entire life, that was just perfect. That was perfect, guys. You need to go watch it when it comes out, and I will get my full in-depth review next week when I can, because there's an embargo right now. But guys, just think of the most perfect Michael Jackson movie ever. It's that.
Hey.
Got to be there.
I have never loved a movie as much in my life like I loved Michael. That is the closest thing I will ever get to seeing my hero. My childhood was filled with me being 3 years old, watching the Thriller music video over and over and over and over and over. He was a reason I danced. He's a reason I loved performing and entertaining. And you have to go and see it. You have to go and see it. Nothing in this world is greater than Michael Jackson and the power that he had. I'm a fool who just cries on TikTok. I loved it. I'm seeing it again. I loved it.
My thoughts on Michael Jackson movie, it was extraordinary, man. Like, the movie was just brilliant. It was powerful. You know, it was refreshing, because a lot of us miss Michael Jackson. A lot of us do, man. And, you know, he haven't been forgotten. And listen, his spirit, Michael Jackson's spirit, is still present now today. When we were sitting in that movie watching that, you know, and watching him perform, it felt like you was in a real concert. You know what I'm saying? Like you was actually there seeing him perform, you know, and it was a great feeling. It was a great feeling. Now, I didn't see Janet Jackson like, you know, throughout the movie. Like, I didn't see Janet Jackson, like her story wasn't told nowhere in the movie. So I started doing research on it, and, you know, it turns out that Janet Jackson turned it down. She didn't want to have anything to do with the movie. You know, they asked her and she said she didn't want nothing to do with it. Now, why? I don't know. You know, why Janet Jackson didn't want to take part in the movie? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one day she'll come out and speak on it. But, man, you know, we definitely lost, you know, a gift, God's gift, you know what I'm saying, with talent, not just talent. You know, Michael Jackson had everything and all the formula there was to change the world, you know, and, you know, it's a sad thing that when God always give us a gift like that, for some reason, it don't last long. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I just wish Michael was still here and would be able to finish his mission. But definitely go out there and see the Michael Jackson movie, man. That movie is amazing. Definitely go see it.
I don't know. I think I might be near my period, but I just came back home from watching the Michael Jackson movie. It was so good. It was so good. It was so good. And yes, I know I look crazy. I just got my lips done and they're really swollen right now, so don't look at that. But it was beautiful. I don't know who the fuck these movie critics are. I audibly gasped when Jafar Jackson got on screen and he started talking. Gasped. He looks so much like him. He sounds exactly like him. He made me feel like I was watching Michael Jackson. And I loved Michael Jackson. I don't know, it was super nostalgic. All of the songs. My mom and I are huge Michael Jackson fans. And it was a beautiful movie. It was beautiful. Give that man an Oscar nomination. He was so good. That is what a movie should do. The movie should make you feel like you're a part of it. Like you feel like that character is that person. And holy shit, did that do it. This was his first acting. You couldn't have told me that.
And we are back with part 2 of our psychic tarot reading on the box office hit, Michael. If you haven't seen the film, I highly recommend you go see it this weekend. It's definitely a must-see movie. I also want to shout out to all you guys who've been watching me throughout the years. Yes, we've been going through some ups and downs, you know, when it comes to what's going on, you know, around the world globally. But I just want to honestly, and coming from the heart, I really appreciate all of you who have always been there, who put the likes and subscribe and the comments every day, you know, reaching out to me for, you know, readings, and who email me every day. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. I just really want to give my condolence and shout out to you guys, because you guys are everything. You don't understand the half of it, but you guys really make my day and you keep me going. So, I just want to say thank you to all of you. I am honored to be your psychic tarot reader / numerologist / astrologist. If you guys ever need your life chart read, you know, hit me up. Email me at dion22 at ism@gmail.com. I'll be gladly give you a full reading. Even though the readings they gonna cost you, y'all. Right now I'm $30 for a reading because we're going through a recession. You know what I'm saying? But yes, don't be afraid to hit me up, guys. My readings are real, they're accurate. Ask about me. But I'm truly honored to be for you guys. This is a blessing. I am here for a reason, and I feel like this is my divine timing to be here for you guys. I do respect and honor you guys, and I just want to say thank you. Anyways, moving on from that. Nina Long playing Katherine Jackson. Now, watching this movie, y'all, I feel like Nina Long really embodied Katherine Jackson. I mean, she brought her grace, her poised energy, her humbleness, and how very quiet and refined Miss Katherine was. And I felt like nobody could play that role better than Nina Long. I mean, she really did her job in this movie, and she made you feel that motherly touch when it comes to her and Michael. Now, contrary on what they want you to believe, which I will get into later in the film, that wasn't really the case at all times. Let me remind you guys, that was not all the case. Now, I'm sorry, but this is where the truth has to be spoken. And, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I mean, I'm a huge Michael fan, but the truth is the truth. And this is where a lot of people are upset about when it comes to this film. Contrary on what they want you to believe on how loving and caring they were for Michael lived a lonely life. Remember that. I just want y'all to know that's key. Michael, compared to all the stuff you see in the media, this family did not have affection for one another. They did not have affection for one another because there was no love. There was no substance. There was a lot of discipline and structure when it comes to the Jacksons, but there was never any love and compassion. I want you guys to understand the difference, because looking at them, it may look like it from a view, from how it seems in the success and the money and the fame, but really these people live lonely, isolated lives. That's why Janet's separated from her family, and she's doing her own thing with the control. It's like they're putting it right in front of your faces, but you guys have to be smart enough to catch it. Now, Michael in his last days, a lot of people, and what people don't know, and this is what I'm hoping they show in the sequel, Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor has always been a mother to Michael, and that's the reason why Michael always was around Elizabeth Taylor, because she was like a mother figure, because she couldn't get that love from Katherine. And I'm not trying to bash Miss Katherine, but the movie, when you watch this movie, Michael, you will see there's a specific scene in the movie, and it's a scene where Michael, you're going to see it. I'm not going to give it away, but when you watch the movie, you're going to understand what I'm saying. That there's a lot of guilt written and put in this film, including with the brothers, including with Joe Jackson. A lot of them had a lot of guilt when Michael passed, and you kind of can see this. That's the reason why this movie was created. It was created out of love and compassion and guilt. So I want y'all to remember that.
I had pimples so badly, and it made me so shy. I used to not look at myself. I'd wash my face in the dark. I wouldn't want to look in the mirror. I would turn off all the lights, and because I had pimples really badly. Then one cousin would always, like this to me when he see me, like, want to pop my pimples. I would just go to the bedroom and cry, And it was just difficult and to face the public.
Father would tease you about your
pimples?
pimples?
He would tell me I'm ugly.
Your father would say
Yes, he would.
And Jeff would tell me, oh, you're so black, or you have such a big nose. He told you you were black? Yes, when I was little. You are so black. You don't look like my child. Your nose is so big and this and that. They used to call me Big Nose and stuff.
Is it true that your father used to say you had a fat nose?
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he actually say?
God, your nose is big. You didn't get it from me.
What does that do to someone who's going through adolescence?
You want to die. You want to die. It's hard. I wanted to play sometimes, and I couldn't, you know.
Why couldn't?
I had to go to the studio.
He was different. Well, Michael never really had that childhood thing that a lot of us had. He didn't get to go out and play around, and
didn't grow up.
He never grew up, and I was just thinking about that with a friend of mine. I said to my friend, you know, my brother never went to a bar. He's never been able to walk into a lounge or just say, give me a beer or whatever. His life was so different in a lot of ways. He was
Michael Jackson. I mean, you knew him. It seems like he needed that fix, that money. It was never enough.
It wasn't money. It wasn't about money. He didn't have no childhood. See, y'all always be trying to talk about shit you don't know. He didn't have a fucking childhood. Huh? All right? He had all the money he wanted, all the fame he wanted. Huh? But he never bounced the ball. Huh? So y'all gonna sit there and talk about somebody you ain't never talked to him. Huh? Michael Jackson. Huh? A child. His mind was a child. Michael was killed at 2 o'clock in the morning from a laser.
Well, I thought it was because of the Sony thing. They wanted I believe there was some.
But that's because you don't have the information.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
I said he was killed by a laser. Huh? I didn't come here to find out what you think.
No, I'm just asking about
No, you didn't. You said you thought. I'm not interviewing you. You interviewing me. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Don't sit here and tell me you thought it was the Sony thing. Huh? Okay. What was the Sony thing about? Tell my grandmother.
Well, my understanding was that he was going to get the Beatles catalog.
He already had it. Huh? He bought the Beatles catalog when his people told him don't buy it. He bought it for $48 million. When they killed him, it was worth $2.5 billion. Huh? Want to hear what you thought? I saw the check, nigga. Huh? So I got to sit in what you thought. Who cares? Huh? That's all.
Yo, I'm gonna channel Joe Jackson's energy. I just want to see what's the energy around him and what kind of person he is. So the first thing I pick up is that Joe is very fixed. He's a Leo. So he's very passionate, very fiery. Most Leos have lots of children. So it makes sense why his family was so, huge. What I feel also is Joe Jackson, he's a family man, but he has his own view on how he sees each and every individual of his kids. He can see their gifts because there's something very, I don't want to say it's intuitive, but what he fixed on is what he believes. I also get that he's a very loyal type of person. Like Joe Jackson is very loyal, even though he was operating with his shadow side because he wasn't loyal to Catherine, but he did stick with her through and through. You have to understand that. He stepped out, yes. When it comes down to, he can be very intense. I feel like his energy is very intense at times. So I understand why he put fear in his children, because of that energy that I'm picking up from him. He is very misunderstood. So he comes off away because of his adolescence, his childhood, how he was raised. And that's the reason why he's disciplining his kids. And it goes back to, slavery in those times, passed on family members, like whatever happens with his grandpa, his dad, whatever they passed on down to him is the reason why he's the man he is. And I feel like he holds a lot. He keeps that. And there's sometimes I get suicidal thoughts. And I know this hasn't been publicized, but I get there was a lot of times where he wanted to just go. He just wanted to leave the face of this earth. I do feel a lot of guilt with Joe Jackson's energy. He is there with Michael in spirit. They're definitely there with each other, but he does hold a lot of guilt. And I do feel like he's waiting for Catherine to come through, him and Michael. Another thing that I get from Joe is very, very authoritative. He was really very good when it comes to authority. And what I'm getting from him is to know me is to love me. The bad part about Joe Jackson, I get that he was very greedy in his times when he was here on Earth, and he was very power hungry, very scheming. Like, he knew to take advantage of a situation when there was an opportunity that came. He just didn't wait. He took it. And I feel like this had a lot to do with him growing up and from what he's, has been through in life. When he was seeing Michael, he always saw Michael's kindness for weakness. And that's the reason where, because he has a little emotion in him as well. But his emotion comes to me like a boiling point, when it gets real fiery. To put everything aside, Joe Jackson is wishing he can do it all over again. And if he could change, if he would do everything, he would not change a thing, but he would do it differently, is what I'm getting. And he hasn't fully crossed over. He's still here in presence, but he's grieving, and he's in a very dark place. I feel like he's still trying to come to terms with his guilt of how he treated his boys. And I know he has a lot of work that he needs to do on the other side. So he has a lot of unfinished business he needs to do before he crosses over, and he knows that. And I just want to leave y'all with that. Moving on to Catherine. All right, now I'm going to tap into Miss Catherine Jackson's spirit, and her spirit guide to communicate with them, because she's still among us. What the energy I get from her is that she is a very honest woman, very disciplined, very loyal as well, very steady. She takes her time, very patient. She's way ahead of her time, especially when it comes to her fashion. You think Miss Tina Knowles had it going on. I get that Catherine was the one that designed a lot of their outfits, and she was very ahead of her time. But she's not the type of person she wants to be in the forefront. She's very humble. She'd rather be behind the scenes. She's not that flashy of a woman. But I do see that when it came to her family and her children, she was the type of woman, she was very classy, very old school. She knew her place. She knew her role on how women were supposed to be back in those days, which I feel like there's a lot of, what I get when I tap into her energy is, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have did that. She has so much regret, especially when it comes down to Michael. Her heart is really, she thinks about Michael every day. I feel like there's even times where there was a lot of guilt when it came to her daughters, especially the person I get, the energy I get is Rebe. I wish she would. Catherine also gives me, like, I get my throat chakra. My throat chakra is like really choking me right now. And I feel like it's because there's a lot of things she wished she would have said, like to Janet, to Rebe. I wish I was there to stop him from what he did. I'm getting that Joe did something to Rebe. But that's something that they have to deal with. I'm not going to explain that, but they know what that is. I also get that Catherine, she really, really loves family, and she really wants to keep them close, especially Michael's kids. The fact that she felt like she wasn't a mother to Michael when he was here, a lot of that guilt, now that she has a second chance, she's doing this with Michael's children. And that's why she wants to be around Michael's children a lot, because it's giving her like a second chance. She's the type of person, she wants to please everyone. She's a people pleaser, and she doesn't really give herself a lot of credit and much love. And I think that's what the family all sees with Catherine, is that she does so much for so many people. She doesn't really do enough for herself. She kind of gives me Tina Knowles vibes a little bit, but except for the part where she doesn't want to be in front of the camera. Very loving woman. At the end of the day, if I can leave y'all with that, I leave you with that.
To call him daddy, and I wanted to call him daddy so bad. He said, "I'm not daddy, I'm Joseph to you,"
Did you want it, or because he was so respectful? I mean, how?
Well, I didn't too much care, because he knew and I knew that he was my son and I was his father. Well, you had all those kids running, hollering around and hollering, Dad, Dad, Dad. You know, it gets to be, sounds kind of funny to me, but I didn't care too much about what they called me, just as long as they was able to listen to me and what I had to tell them, you know, in order to make their life successful. This was the main thing. What I got a kick out of Michael is when he was small, is when I would give him his allowance, he would have these kids sitting around feeding him, you know. He loved to help. You know, he can't say no. Anybody wants something from him, he would give it to them and cry later about it, but he let them have it.
Now, at this point, I shouldn't even be surprised about. This is one of the readings that I've done last year before the movie even was mentioned. Nobody even thought of Diana Ross at this time, but it's funny because now it's the talk of the town. And now everybody's mentioning something I said last year. And enough said, just check out my prediction. Let's see if she pops up. Oh, wow, spoke too soon. What's going to come to the light is their relationship. Yeah, it's going to come to the light, y'all. They're going to talk about it. They are going to talk about it. I feel like it will be shocking. It will be shocking. I think Diana Ross was pregnant with Michael's baby once upon a time. Now, this is crazy around that time when I just got through doing that reading. I just got word that Kat Graham was going to play Diana Ross in the upcoming biopic Michael. And she was on the Keke Palmer show, and she was, you know, talking about she was doing the movie, and, you know, the director hired her. And I thought that was strange because I really didn't think they were going to follow through with that. So I did a reading around March of this year to, you know, see if, you know, Diana Ross was going to hear about this. What was the energy around Diana Ross? Was she going to be in the movie? And, you know, what's crazy is this is what I got. Check this out. Spirit, talk to me, talk to me. Will they discuss Miss Diana Ross in the upcoming biopic? Spirit, please, Father God, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Please, Father God, allow me to see and say anything and everything that you allow me to say and see. Father God, Michael and Diana Ross are your loves. They're your children. They're your beloveds. Please, Mother, Father God, authorize me to see and say anything and everything that you authorize me to say and see. I love you, God. I love you, Jesus. In your name I pray. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Man. Okay, I'm getting a little hot in here. Woo, it's getting hot. Will Diana Ross be talked about in the movie? So the first card I get is I get the Liberation card, breaking free from negative attachments. So this is basically a way of, this is in the past. There was a lot of negative energy around this subject, right? You see how the bird is trying to fly, but he can't because there's so much talk and gossip and ugliness going on. You see? But the dove has the halo of God, you know? But there's just ugliness going around. So it's trying to break, when it comes to this subject, they're trying to break free from negative attachments in the past, right? The Temptress. Seduction, deceit, and a broken promise. This is Miss Diana. But the DNA set shows me, you see the eye? Someone in the family knows about Miss Diana. Someone knows. I honestly think they signed an NDA, you know, niggas don't ask contract. They signed one of those, and that's probably why we might not know the whole truth about what happened. I think Miss Diana knew, and I think she, you know, rushed to the studio, because remember, they had the movie done for a while. They rushed to the studio, and she was like, take it out. Please take it out the film. Take it out. In the past, it has something to do with fulfillment of wishes. And it's going to bring some mental conflict. I feel like Diana Ross is going to get triggered by this film. But I do know someone is suffering in silence. I feel like Diana Ross is suffering in silence. I feel like she saw the sharp edges from a mile away. She knew this time was coming. She knew. She knew. Ms. Diana, I think what you should just say is, yeah, I mean, it was a different time. It was a different time. Dirty Diana, no. This is going to be her karma. There's going to be some judgment. It could be 3 people that's going to get judged, but it's karma. Y'all, this is a year of exposure. I hate to be the one. What they're worried about is Michael. They're hoping Michael's story gets cleared. His name gets cleared. Poor Michael. And the outcome is going to be a turning point. It's going to be a turning point of the film. If I can leave y'all with that. Predicted it. Tell you guys, Spirit never lies. And then after this news broke out, that's when all the YouTubers came out and, the bloggers and everybody started telling their part of the story, which they was accurate.
Y'all heard the Michael Jackson phone call with his friend Glenda, whose husband was recording their phone calls because he was insecure and thought they was messing around. I think I'm naive because I genuinely used to believe that Dirty Diana was not her, but allegedly, keep listening.
How long did it take you to get over Diana? Years. A hell of a long time. I just want to know what it's like to have a real relationship with someone who doesn't want me for me, that I don't have to look over my shoulder all the time. That doesn't have an ulterior motive? Yes. I don't want to die without knowing about this, having a real relationship with a woman who I was involved, but we never did it. We never really took away. But that was your decision. That wasn't hers. The girlfriend had my nose wide open. Okay? She could drive a truck through my nose. That is the craziest. Black thing. So I loved her so much. I would give her money, I would give her jewelry, I would give her a house, a car, whatever. But we never did enough. Well, don't you think that attracted you must have acted she was such a strong person and that she stood up for you and your dad and she was always there. Wasn't that a lot of the attraction? Because she's older than you. Oh, yeah. And I was so in love that I could have my nose wide open and
Diana Ross. Tina. We all got problems, Effie. No, but seriously, cousins, did y'all know this? I knew Dirty Diana, but I just in my head was like, oh, it's not about her. Cousins, is Dirty Diana about her? Y'all heard Michael.
Well, just in case you missed it, here's a replay of that phone call.
nothing I could control in my life with my eating. They used to call me Big Nose and stuff. And instead of retaliating on them, I just did it with myself. Are you happy with me? Yeah. I'm happy with my face. Yeah. Are you happy with all that? Yeah. Because I don't want to lose my kids. No, you don't. I love you for you. I'm not you person. I am. But how can you be that way when there's so many people around? Because I don't love those people. I want to be with someone. I want to know what a relationship is all about before I die. Can you understand that, girl? My brothers have been married. My brothers have had girlfriends. I really haven't had that. How long did it take you to get over Diana? Years. A hell of a long time. I just want to know what it's like to have a real relationship with someone who doesn't want me for me, that I don't have to look over my shoulder all the time. That doesn't have an ulterior motive? Yes. I don't want to die without knowing about this, having a real relationship with a woman who involved. I was involved, but we never did it. We never really had to play.
But that was your decision. That wasn't hers. I mean,
the girlfriend had my nose wide open, okay? She could drive a truck through my nose.
That is the craziest thing.
Black thing.
The black thing.
So I loved her so much. I would give her money, I would give her jewelry, I would give her a house, a car, whatever. But they never did enough.
Well, don't you think that attracted you was the fact that she was such a strong person and that she stood up for you and your dad and
yeah.
She was always there. Wasn't that a lot of the attraction? I mean, because she's older than you.
Oh, yeah. And I was so in love that, like, I have my nose wide open, and I didn't want to believe what was really going on. I want to experience what I haven't experienced before. Never having a normal, having a relationship with someone like that. I've never had that.
I think everybody wants it.
Well, I haven't.
Okay.
And that's what I want. You know, I know I'm not going to be here very long or whatever. I just want to I've never experienced it. For someone to accept me totally.
You're pushing 34, my dear.
Yeah, and I've never happened. There's nothing else.
Diana Ross will pay for her crimes, and I'm gonna tell you why. Here's everything they missed in the Michael movie in chronological order. And yes, this will be a multi-part series because there's no way I can address everything in one video. So let's get into it. Now, everything that I will be mentioning will be about adult Michael from Off the Wall all the way to the end of the movie. But when the movie transitions from the Jackson 5 to Off the Wall, there is a very important thing that happened that was not mentioned. And that thing was a little movie called The Wiz from 1978. Now, this is not fully the studio's fault because not only did we get this shot of Coleman Domingo getting his hair done for the movie, right behind him, you can see Jafar Jackson in multiple different types of makeup for every single Michael Jackson era. And one of those eras that you can see is him dressed as the Scarecrow from The Wiz. And The Wiz may very well be one of his most important projects of his entire career, because had it not been for The Wiz, there probably would have been no Off the Wall, Thriller, or Bad, because in the movie they made it seem like Quincy Jones was just always there, and they barely showed him throughout the movie. And although Michael met Quincy Jones before The Wiz got them reintroduced, and that's how he ended up producing Off the Wall. Also in the movie, they barely showed him at Studio 54. In fact, they actually showed him at Studio 54 after Off the Wall came out. But what they didn't tell you is that during the time that Michael was visiting Studio 54, this was when he was living in New York by himself, away from his family. But why would something that big be left out of the movie? Well, blame Diana Ross, because unfortunately, Diana Ross was a major part of Michael's life during that time, and she was casted in the movie. Kat Graham was going to be playing her. They have set photos from the movie at Studio 54, bro. And Diana Ross, as we all know, was around Michael since he was a child. But the thing about that is, at no point throughout Diana Ross and Michael Jackson's relationship was she ever a child. She was always an adult. In fact, she's 10 years older than him. And everybody loves throwing pedo allegations at Mike. But the person who really needs the pedo allegations is Diana Ross, because there was a lot of grooming going on. You know what I mean? She caused Michael a lot of heartbreak and turmoil. And they were definitely going to address that in the movie. Unfortunately, Diana Ross legally opted out of the film, meaning no representation, no mention of her. Basically, the filmmakers had to make it seem like she just didn't exist. Basically, anything that involved Diana Ross, Studio 54, The Wiz, how Quincy Jones fully got into the picture, all of that involved Diana Ross.
Way Diana Ross was playing in Michael Jackson's face. In 1969, Berry Gordy paired his new act, the Jackson 5, with his legendary artist, Diana Ross. She introduced the group to the world for their debut TV performance, again on her own TV special, and then promoted them throughout media. The group even lived with Diana for a year in California while their family were still in Indiana. So she became a mentor and surrogate mother to the group, and its youngest member, Michael Jackson, fell in love with her. See, one comment that persists about Diana Ross is that she exudes this femininity, kind of similar to Cleopatra, where men just fall defenseless, destructive, and hell over heels over this woman. And somehow 11-year-old Michael fell under the spell, despite her being 14 years his senior. She had a work ethic that Jackson admired, this soft yet protective motherly energy. Accordingly, Katherine Jackson says he called her both mama and his girlfriend. But they weren't particularly close until 1977, when 19-year-old Michael and 33-year-old Diana were cast as Scarecrow and Dorothy in the film adaptation of The Wiz. Now an adult, Diana began treating Michael as such. Once filming for the day was wrapped, they would attend parties, go to nightclubs like Studio 54. And there was actually a morning when Diana's assistant was calling around looking for her because she and Michael were hours late to set, just to find out she stayed a night at Michael's Sutton Place apartment. When they finally arrived on set, her assistant asked Michael, "Did y'all, what's going on?" To which he said, "You gotta ask Diana." And though she didn't confirm that they did anything, she was overheard telling a friend he definitely ain't gay.
I knew that you were going to be a giant star. I really did. Well, thank you. Yeah, but I didn't know. What I didn't know is that you were going to get so sexy.
You're embarrassing me. Well, I always knew you would.
What?
Be sexy.
Do you guys think she's sexy?
Diana was the love of Michael's life, and he had practically waited all his life to express this to her, so there was no going back now. In an early 80s interview, he told the interviewer that Diana was everything he could wish for in a woman, and he'd hoped that she would marry him. He had a room in the family house dedicated to her. The couple did a photo shoot, Michael requesting 2 copies of every photo they took, 144 photos. The infatuation was real. The shift in dynamics weren't as easy for Ms. Ross. In a 1981 Ebony magazine interview, she said she was in love with Michael Jackson, crazy about him. She echoed this in a TV interview.
Michael and I, we're in love, and there's nothing to do about it. There's nothing to say. So,
Then she turned around and publicly friend zone him.
Tonight is a night for film. What are your plans in film coming up?
we're going to do something soon. He's going to play my son.
How do you feel about that?
It's great.
See, Diana was self-conscious about how the media and fans would respond to her dating someone 14 years younger than her, specifically given she and Michael's history. So even though it seemed like they were in love, lust, whatever you want to call it, she was at times far more apprehensive about showing that publicly than he was. It's alleged that she tried letting Michael down easy by encouraging him to date other women within his age bracket while they maintained what they had in a, unlabeled type of situation. But whenever he was out publicly with another lady, if Diana was in the building, she made a point to go over to him, sit in his lap, kiss him, flirt with him, and he'd end up leaving the event with her instead of his date. And this game was played for months until Michael finally proposed to Diana in the mid-80s, and she said yes. Not only did she say yes, she put aside her fears of the public and began flaunting her engagement ring. Then, as she hoped wouldn't happen, the media began calling her out for robbing the cradle, and Katherine Jackson for damn sure was not condoning the matrimony. Diana called off the engagement and secretly began dating Norwegian businessman Arnes. She married him in 1985, a year after meeting, and had the nerve to invite Michael Jackson to the wedding, even though Michael hadn't met or heard about the man who she'd left him for. Michael didn't find the strength to attend the wedding, but he did try to be happy for his love. Fortunately for Michael, Arnes spent most of his time in Europe, and Diana remained in America, so there was a lot of extra time that she and Michael allegedly took advantage of. But this is actually where Michael began to spiral. He wasn't cool being a little pool boy. This was supposed to be his marriage, his wife. And on top of that, the media began alleging that he was a stalker of some sort trying to break up the marriage. Said he was cosmetically attempting to look like Diana, and the two were allegedly meeting up while she was pregnant. Jermaine said Michael was so hurt that he wrote the song Remember the Time about the love he had for Diana that he felt had escaped him. But you can only mope around for so long wanting somebody to be something that they do not want to be. So Michael grew a little vengeful and showed up to the 1986 AMAs with his new friend and confidant, Elizabeth Taylor. But even with her sitting beside him, when he saw Diana Ross on stage, you could see his heart drop. So he turned to music to release some steam with his 1988 song Dirty Diana. Now the original version has zero innuendo, and you knew exactly who he was singing about, which is why when Quincy Jones heard it, he freaked out and urged Michael to please change the second verse, tone it down, and make it sound like he was singing about a groupie. But even that vengeful song didn't change the way he felt about Diana long term. So as he secluded himself from the world, he also pushed Diana out. In a 1991 interview, Diana said that she hadn't been able to get in contact with Michael for a long time, and on the rare occasion that he did want to reach out to her, he would reach out to her. In other words, brother was protecting his peace. Because deep down, there was a level of admiration and love that Michael had for her that he just didn't know how to break loose, so he had to distance himself. But whenever Diana showed up, like the time he was in the hospital in 1995, and he heard she was coming and kicked his wife, Lisa Marie Presley, out of the room in preparation of Diana and got her gifts like she was the one in the hospital, and wrote a love note for her in his 1995 History album. Listen, Michael eventually came to terms with the fact that he and Diana will probably never be together in the capacity that he always had dreamt of, but he would always love her. Listen,
You know, that's the part that really gets under my skin. This movie would have been so much better if they would have left her role in this movie. But then again, we would have to, it would be a big problem for the legendary Diana Ross, which, you know, it was only fair that they took that out. But at the same time, it wouldn't make Michael look so, you know, abnormal. I feel like it would have gave him a little bit of some normacy. If they would have kept that part in there, it would have gave us some closure, you know, because this is a biopic. This is supposed to be the truth of Michael. So I really didn't appreciate them taking that out. But, you know, now that this is out, people are going to be questioning you, Miss Diana Ross. You got some explaining to do. But anyways, I'm glad that the movie was made. I'm glad Michael finally got a movie at the big screen. And not only least, this wasn't just a biopic. This was actually a spiritual movie, because there was a lot of spiritual things happening in this movie. This is why I want you all to go see the movie, because it's a very spiritual movie. And Michael was a spiritual person.
If you are going to watch the Michael movie, you have to watch it from a spiritual perspective, because the real lesson in the film is connected to Michael's spiritual evolution. The film did a great job at acknowledging the fact that the family grew up as Jehovah's Witnesses, right? They had Catherine mentioning Jehovah quite a few times throughout the film. So that was like the hint that there was a Jehovah's Witness background. However, the main focus of the film, one of the main focuses of the film, was Michael's spiritual evolution over time. In the beginning of the film, Michael acknowledged that his goal, his intention, his vision was to be the biggest star in the world. And they actually showed him scripting his vision. They showed how much he valued mantras, so much so that he would write his mantras down and sticky note tape them to his mirror and chant them while he was looking in the mirror. He would start his studio sessions out chanting mantras like, "You are beautiful, you are strong, you are confident, you are the biggest star in the world." Every spiritual person knows the value of a good mantra, knows the value of chanting and calling that energy into yourself. And it worked for Michael, because he manifested his vision. He became the biggest star in the world. He manifested that confidence and found his voice enough to be able to stand up to his father and fire his father, right? But the real lesson in the film for me came from his evolution over time, especially his evolution on his spiritual journey. Because in the beginning, he wanted those things like fame and to be the biggest star, notoriety, confidence. But by the end of the film, he was tapping into the law of Dharma. Michael was all about living in his purpose and manifesting from a space not of ego, not a space from what benefits self only, but he was now manifesting from a space of what would benefit the world. By the end of the film, Michael's goal was to heal and to spread love. It was about using his gifts and his abilities to benefit the collective all and not just self. That's a spiritual journey.
Thank you all for watching the second part of this Michael reaction. Now we're going to get into the reading. Will there be a Michael 2? Stay tuned. Click the link below at the bottom in the comment section to watch this part 2. Or if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll get it automatically. Thank you for watching, and God bless.